speaks. At that point, the government of the state come face to face with these people and explain to them the view and the part of government under this age, particularly under the COVID-19 era. We are going into the 6th series of this program, and today at Udom, we are on Eket Radio, twice on Radio 90.5 FM, Planet FM 101 FM, Comfort 95.1 FM, Passion 94.5 FM, Atlantic 104.9 FM, and of course on Exile 106.9 FM. But also on live stream on all the government and platforms and all of the state and beyond. And joining me on the program today are two of the very best journalists and broadcasters in the part of the world. Joining us today for the first time is a foremost content personality outside Nigeria, one several shows on the planet from most of the people part of it. Welcome to the program, Emmanuel. And also here is the Vice Chairman of the Individual Accounting State. The name up here is the name, is also an information officer. As the information officer, there's a few minutes of power. He has a very good understanding of the COVID-19 pandemic. And welcome to the program. And also here is Eket become of the AKCA, and helping us to find everything online through the program. Thank you, welcome to the program. My name is James Kelly, and it's my pleasure to welcome His Excellency the Governor of the State, Minister of the Government and the program. Excellent. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Akwa Ibomites, those at home and those in the diaspora. I want to appreciate God's mercies and favor upon all of you who are alive till today, and also thank God for your life wherever you are. We are sending our regards to every Akwa Ibomite anywhere you are in the world, and also our well-wishers, not only those who are indigents, also our well-wishers. Welcome to the program. Today I'm going to talk less and listen more to you and take more of your questions. Welcome and God bless you.
Thank you, Excellency. We about that. For Dana and Inga Ekita Barasi, this is a woman to take the first part. You're not going to like to take the first part of that question.
Thank you very much. Yes, Excellency, sir. We've been talking about plans to increase the rate of testing of COVID-19 outside the state. So how far have we gone?
I'm going to take your question, Nene, but as usual, let me first of all appreciate my people once again. My dear Akwa Ibomites all over, let me thank you and appreciate all your support, especially those who are not with us here. I feel encouraged by your kind words. I feel encouraged by your suggestions. I feel encouraged by some of the ideas. You find a way to reach me. And if you observe, we don't throw any of them away. We try to blend them with the wisdom God has given us and the home-breed ideas that we have to actually come up with an execution plan. So I want to say that all appreciated. The state belongs to all of us. So all hands must be on deck to lay a foundation for our future generation and also to do the best we can, not just only in terms of COVID-19. I said this right from March, that the problem with COVID-19 in Africa might not just be the virus. The more impact will be from the economy, will be on the economy. And we are feeling that seriously as Africans. And I want to also believe we are trying to have a way out, homegrown solutions. And Nene, your question again, you said in terms of test.
Yes.
I want to say this, when I appeared here last, during my last briefing in July, our new PCR lab an isolation center, I think, was newly approved by NCDC and all the regulatory bodies. Even with all the encomiums poured on us at that time, we've gone to work. I want to say that within then and now, total reviewed cases, because you see, I'm one person, I don't just want to look at only the test. Let's look at, because we don't just want to do a test for doing sake. We have experts. These guys are professors in their own field. So I give it to them. So let's say that up to today, I mean from that time till now, total reviewed cases 5,132. Those are the cases we've reviewed. Including, if you see now, NCDC are publishing about 2,000 of those tests that we've done. I believe they are correct, but in our own records, reviewed cases, which are concerns, people of interest, people we treat, there are certain people that through our triage, they might have thought it to be coronavirus, that haven't passed them through our triage, through our case review system, and you just discover at the end of the day, it's not actually what we thought. So the total is about 5,132, and we are trying to rev up. I made mention the last time that we are ready for a second PCR lab, so that they can also come for accreditation and commissioning. We need to do at 2 points right now, but all within the Uyo state capital. Let me say here that we are ready. We are waiting for NCDC. They are quite busy. And our case is a little bit different. Other places, other states, those test centers are owned by the federal government. So they carry the cost 100%. But in our own case, it is owned by the state government. We bear the cost of running that place, the cost of testing, everything 100%. So when you hear some other people doing this, so you could see even the region, all they are using for the testing is supplied by the federal government, free of charge, and the federal government bears that cost. But in our own case, we carry the cost 100% as a state government. At times people don't know some of these minor differences, but they amount to huge cost at the end of the day. I think as an update, as at the last time we spoke, total confirmed cases were a little over 50, because we're just getting our lab newly. But with the level of increased testing, we had cases of about 271. Discharge, out of which we've discharged about 220, if I'm not mistaken. Then there are about 2 or so that were neither here nor there. They say inconclusive. So, but today, total number of confirmed cases currently on administration by our case management team is 43. It's 43. The arithmetic may not add up because of those ones they say inconclusive. I don't want to take those ones into consideration. But whether they are inconclusive or not, I want to reassure Akwa Ibomites that they are still being given the same level of treatment as those who had tested positive, because we don't want to take chances at all. And let me also announce that between then and now, we've also moved to, because of reopening of schools for JSS and SSS, we've also made move to do random testing in some of those schools. I think the last school we tested over 100. And I think it's only just one young man that came out positive. Same asymptomatic situation. But even with that, we had to still take the normal precaution to avoid the spread. And we did what we needed to do medically. And I want to believe by now, the young lad should be okay. He was still very active. We made sure that he didn't miss anything out of class. We'll continue to do this from school to school, trying to make sure our school students are safe. But all of them are writing WAEC now. All of them are in excellent health condition, because I promise you that we'll put everything in place to ensure that these people are quite safe. every single special assistant to the governor, we've actually briefed them on basic information about this so that they could help us go around these schools to monitor, one, the level of compliance, two, the health conditions of these people, three, in case we need any call. You know, right now we have a lot of ambulances. I may not have the exact number. We've gotten support from corporate bodies. The last support we got was from Bois, who gave us 5 ambulances. He's been a friend of the state. I think he's one of the potential investors in the state in methanol plants, petrochemicals, and the rest of them. So ahead of that, he rendered support. He also gave us about 100,000 face masks, which we've also distributed to schools. Those schools have also provided sanitizers and all the COVID-19 support that we needed to give to those schools so that they can write WAEC in the condition they are writing right now. I believe, based on the report I have, because I cannot be in all the schools at the same time, based on the report I have, I think the students are doing well. It's left for them also to reciprocate by giving us excellent WAEC result. I need to also emphasize on that because, you know, even when Joshua sent people to go and spy the promised land, it's only 2 people that brought good report. The rest all brought evil report, so that you don't follow the evil report you read on the social media. What I'm telling you, this is purely first-hand information. We are closely monitoring those our children, and we'll make sure they conclude their WAEC examinations under normal COVID-19 procedure, and also keep to all the protocols and make sure that they are safe. Their parents too at home should be safe, because once they contact and get back home, it becomes a problem. So we are mindful of all this, and we believe we'll keep going. Let me also announce here, but I don't want people to relax and start jubilating, that we are plotting a curve and a trend. I think the curve is driving downwards, because these days at times we take a sample of about 100 and something and test. You'll be hard pressed to get one. And either is due to increase in consciousness of the people's safety and compliance, or probably other reasons we may not explain. When you're speaking as government, there is an unseen hand. Even though people are aware it's there, people refuse to acknowledge. But I always find opportunity to acknowledge that unseen hand, which means the hand of the Almighty in everything that we do. It could be that unseen hand that is actually helping us manage the situation the way it is right now. And we believe it's been our help, and is continuing to help us, will continually help us. I can only attribute what we are achieving today to him alone. Paul says, whatsoever, whosoever, wherever we find ourselves, is just by the grace. So let me end there and take a lot of questions from you today. I say I'll try to speak less. Let me listen more to Akwa Ibomites. Thank you.
Your Excellency, there was a mention of the second round of palliative by the government to cushion the effects of the pandemic on affected. How far have we gone with that plan?
Well, it's not a plan, it's been executed. We did that since last month, but in the month of July, we did that at the nick of time to about opening school. Because you see, that second part of palliative included a whole lot of things for that category. Indomie, sugar, so many I think that we did at that time. We distributed at that time. And for the first time, even those who complained during the first round of palliative, the second time, I could read somewhere, all of them were full of praises of the government. The quantity was huge, was enormous, and it went down very well. Once something involves human beings, there will still be 1 or 2 complaints. I'm not saying we would have scored 100%, but I want to believe you would have scored an A+ in that second round of distribution. So plus or minus 10 to 5% in situation of this nature of error rate is tolerable. But I want to believe that people are happy on that second palliative that we allowed it to go around. But we've done it. We've done it already.
Speaking about palliative, I believe you are aware,
complaints that some people are people, criminals who hide under these arrestees to call on people to give this, to get this, give this, to some criminal elements, exploiting on these arrestees. I think it's a service of the law, but I need to what are the strategies?
James, that will not end. At times you can see, how do they say it? People, what will I even call it? People sending spurious emails as if it's from the governor, soliciting for help, things that I don't even know. People just trying to create a Facebook and put my name there and trying to talk to people. These things did not start today. Swindlers were there even before we were born. They will always be there. But I want to assure you that we're on our toes in terms of security and in order to make sure that we don't have a whole lot of victims on days. But you see, let people follow the numbers we've given on COVID-19. Let people call through our case management center. We have situation room that is running 24/7. People should avail themselves of these facilities in order not to be a victim of some of these bad people. Bad people were there from creation. They will always be there. So I've not seen any society that had completely eliminated bad people. But I can tell you conveniently and confidently too that in Akwa Ibom is at a minimal level. Minimal level.
The lady seems to want to ask something.
Okay, still a follow-up, sir. We've seen all what the state government is doing for schools that are writing exams at the moment for the certificate passing. But how prepared is Payroll to handle full resumption of pupils and students in the face of COVID-19?
Thank you, Nene. That's the second aspect in which we are looking at. If you clear back what I said before we even opened JSS, mind you, I was the first governor in this country to announce our readiness for those 2 batches to resume. It was after our announcement that we started hearing further announcements. We showed that we had prepared well in advance before others made their own announcement. I want to say here that since then, we've been working on full resumption of all the schools, part of which will be that we are ready for the normal subvention and grant we give to schools in order to improve the level of hygiene in those schools. And we are now trying to see how we can talk to the coordinator of NYSC here. Mind you, we use a whole lot of corpers, youth corps members, to actually supplement what we have in terms of teaching. Because at any point in time, Akwa Ibom, the number of youth corps members we have in Akwa Ibom is on the average every year by 11,000. And these people are well trained. These are people who have graduated from tertiary institutions, especially where we have dearth of teachers from College of Education in terms of sciences. And these guys are handy. A whole lot of them are first-class brains in science subjects that we pay a whole lot of attention to. So we are also trying to see, once youth corps members are also ready, we get them through every protocol we're also setting up. We should be able to ring the bell for the school to start. But in terms of COVID-19, defogging of all those schools, we did that even before this one started. Once they finish their exams, we are going to defog all those schools again, go back through, repeat the same procedures that we did before the SSS and JSS started, and put things in place. But what will be in addition is that every single school will get the normal grants that they get. The grant is ready. You don't want to disburse now because 100% of the students have not gone back. If you do that now, you do 2 times. And resources are limited. you can't do it 2 times within 1 month. So we're ready with all that, and I'm sure even the new commissioner for education, the entire team, they are working. The education monitoring people, they are on that. We are fully ready. The only team we are waiting for now are the youth corps members. Once we get the youth corps members on our side so that they can also help us fill the gaps of where we don't have adequate teachers. These guys are good. They teach also very well. These are university graduates. Some of them have master's degree in different fields. A whole lot of them were trained outside this country who just returned to also do NYSC. So many of them prefer to come and serve in Akwa Ibom here. So we're also trying to make use of what you have to get what you want. These are resources that we cannot just allow to be idle. They are handy, and we are making excellent use of them. Once we are comfortable that the federal government, I don't manage that aspect. Once the federal government is willing and ready to allow them go, I think we'll ring the bell and then schools will resume in earnest.
Thank you, Excellency. And now let's go to the area of the economy. Anytime we come here, we always we know that COVID-19 is going to be taking a toll on the economy of all nations. Just recently, a major economic group slide into recession. What is the economic outlook of the country given this?
Akwa Ibom is a subset within a country called Nigeria. We cannot just take our economic outlook in a situation of pandemic and just assess ourselves. That will be completely wrong and misleading. What you could do is look at what's the economic outlook of Nigeria, what's the inflation, check all the indices, what is indicating post-COVID-19. I know that whatsoever affects Nigeria, now Nigeria is a sum total of all the 36 states plus the federal capital territory. So whatsoever affects the center is certainly also affecting us. So it would be wrong for me and misleading for me to just pretend as if Akwa Ibom is insulated or we run on our own. No, it cannot work like that. We also, after all, we don't control the fiscal policies, we don't control monetary policies, we don't control a whole lot of economic policies of the federal government. And those policies affect us directly. So the easiest way to assess the impact, economic impact of these, is to rely on what the minister had briefed the whole country about. The Minister of National Planning and Finance, I think she had done a briefing in that regard. So I want to queue behind that briefing so that I don't give any contradictory information to our people or could be misleading. But trust me, the issue is not what the indices are now. The issue should be what are we doing as a people to come out of it. And I sounded this warning and I raised an alarm that our people, COVID-19 or no COVID-19, even during the lockdown, let people get back to the farm. That where situation could a little bit be calmer will be where at least we'll be able to feed ourselves as a nation. Once we're able to do that, things will be calmer. It could be terrible if we allow, excessive scarcity of food items to persist at this point. No, I think the best thing and the most urgent thing we should do, and which we are doing as a state, is to ensure that there's food items in the market, availability, and we are trying to push quantity so that the primary economics 101 that you were taught, the demand and supply, trying to determine the price could come in there. Because once we have a good quantity on ground, or too much in terms of supply chasing the demand, suddenly, automatically, the price will be moderate. So that's where we are actually trying to ramp up right now. The agri people are planting day and night. We are doing vegetables. What we used to experience pre-COVID-19, where one huge retailer, or could I call it a wholesaler in this time, can just come and tell us the entire whatsoever is grown in 5 greenhouses is only for his company and pay us in advance. We are trying not to do that, because once you allow one person buy so much, he will be the one to control the price. So we try to make sure that we break those level of control of some of those wholesalers, so that at least we can also have access to the retail market and be able to bring down the prices. I think these are some of the immediate measures we are taking, and the rest assured, our first planting of cassava and some of those staple food we should be harvesting any minute from now. Mind you, we are entering September in another 2 weeks, so we should be harvesting, and that will also bring a whole lot of food items. We also launched second planting season, even in the mid of that COVID-19, which we also still planted a whole lot of our staple food that we consume here. I believe if all hands are on deck, and if everybody takes this as serious as it should be, we should be able to at least have some food items, and then the rest we can leave for the experts. We can't be bothering our common people in the village about other key indices of the economy. What concerns them with that is to manage it at the top level and let the effect trickle down for them to have the benefits. And I think that's the way we look at it. We hope, James, even you yourself asking me the question, I hope you also have a fun, not just asking me. Thank you.
The economy, Your Excellency, the state government is set up a post-COVID-19 economic team, and we know recommendations pointed at diversification of the economy into sectors such as the agro-economy. When is government going to start the implementation of these recommendations?
We've already started. We've already started implementing some of those recommendations, not all. Because what we tried to work with them with, we said, can we look at the low-hanging fruits and see how we can get that running? First of all, the youth engagement that I announced earlier, starting with about 3,000 youths, our small and medium scale entrepreneurial agency run by those young men that we got them trained is seriously on that. This also includes a whole lot on ICT. And I also made mention that we've set up a technical center at Ikorodidem, if I'm correct, at Ikorodidem. Unfortunately, that center could not start immediately. Why? Because a whole lot of tools and equipment that will be used in training those people, we still must import. And you know, international trade had been adversely impacted by the coronavirus. Some of those equipment, if you go on cargo to DHL, UPS, you pay a lot more. But it could be cheaper if it's being cargoed through when other international flights commence. And we have to take this into consideration. And I believe as we are about commencing with a lot of international flights, we'll find a way to bring some of those things. We couldn't have afforded to be chartering cargo for everything. We are doing so already for our medical needs. We can't do on every item or every equipment. I'm sure. Whatsoever we get as a state government is a public figure. I mean, it's also public information, so you can look at what we get every month, plus a level of infrastructure and other soft infrastructure. Because what you see in most cases, just hard there's an aspect we call soft infrastructure that you might not is not seen tangible, but that costs a whole lot of money in terms of human capacity development and the rest of them. So by the time you put that in, you know that it's also a time. I made mention of a principle that we're adopting to manage cost and resources within this time, where I said that once we are into that level of expenditure, that we look at whether that expenditure item is wholly, exclusively, reasonably, and necessarily incurred. So we are being guided seriously by that principle. It could be wholly, it could be exclusively, it could be reasonable, but it must be necessary. We prioritize these things and get it done. But I'm sure with the opening up now, very soon, that center should start. So we are taking some of those implementations one by one. And I want also you to know that even under the COVID, still do a lot in terms of cottage industries that will take care of these our youths, not just in terms of employment, will also serve as a training center. Glad to announce to you that our tissue paper factory that we've set up had been completed during COVID-19 period, lockdown. And I'm going to declare it open as part of our 33rd anniversary celebration by the state government. And we also reworked our plastic manufacturing plant in terms of capacity, in terms of quality, in terms of more molds, and also see how we can engage our people, get them trained, get people to fabricate some of the parts that will be used to maintain those. Some of these technical students are actually helping in that. We are doing a whole lot in this ramification, and we believe a lot more will be handled in terms of that. And even in terms of opening up the economy, it's no more news. that while other places are were being locked down due to the pandemic, even our aviation industry was still booming. 2 brand new aircrafts came in. Those aircrafts were manufactured May 2014, came in during the same pandemic, and a lot more. So we are not relenting. We are not just trying to give excuses in situations that we find ourselves. I announce this over and over again that in every adversity, God had imbued in every human being what God or what management people or psychology or anybody could call adversity quotient. So that should enable you survive under adverse conditions. We must survive at the state no matter the level of adverse condition that we find ourselves. We must find a way to survive. So economically, I believe we are doing well. And I don't want to announce a whole lot more. A lot of envy and jealousy. When you see people publishing all kinds of things, you know it's not just normal. It's purely out of envy and jealousy. So we are mindful of that. So I won't be able to announce all to the entire world, but some of these things we see us commissioning and them getting online. Thank you.
That essence is here talking about the economy, and let's talk about the issue of unemployment. There's something which indicates that Akwa Ibom has the second highest rate of unemployment in the country. Then the reactions and actions against this, including the one by your Commissioner for Information on national TV. Now, what's your personal take on this?
No, but James, the first question I will ask you, we are second to which state? Mention first.
They did not tell us yourself.
No, we are second to which state? Imo. Correct.
Okay,
Correct. Let me leave my state so that people won't think I'm biased. From the time you were born till today, in those days, whenever we carry anything, what do we say? Aba Ahmed. Aba at that time was Imo State. So, which means that right from the time of our primary school days, the group of people in this country that were most self-employed, more entrepreneurial spirit than any other party in this country, used to be Aba Ahmed. Aba 100% was under Imo State. How come all of a sudden in 2020 they have the highest level of employment, followed by Akwa Ibom? Under the current situation, let's check the records. I don't mean what people do on their own. I mean by the efforts of state government. Let's leave the centers that are influenced by both federal and so on. Let's check how many of these states are we lagging behind, even in terms of attracting foreign direct investment. The same state in 2019 that we had the second highest level of foreign direct investment. As of today, we've launched over 18 new factories in the state. And if you check the level of construction, let's even use construction. Every local government you go to in Akwa Ibom State is a construction site. Each of those casual workers earn minimum of 4,000 naira a day. They work 6 days in a week. They earn 24,000 naira in a week. Multiply that by 4. Find out even people who are working in financial institutions, how much do they pay them a month? What do people call employment? So it seems what they call employment is the number of people you take, even in civil service. Let's even go back. Medical line, I announced it the other time. I inherited about 109 or 162 doctors when I became a governor. In the past 2 years, we've increased the number of doctors to 460 something. Isn't that employment? We've never fired one person. There's something I also learned, some of these things can be attributed to ignorance. Somebody who is a lawyer, I wanted to challenge that lawyer. I said, you've been a lawyer, you're over 60 years. Can we even know whether you even have a chamber? So why did you go to school? He was the first to write. So we pity this and that. So I now looked at, these are people that we are employing, in different sectors. Let me start with our investment in agri. Our target was to do 16,000 hectares of cassava during the economic pandemic. Our coconut plantation alone in East Nobolo and Ekorabasi is employing workers close to 400. Go and check the records. Coconut plantation alone. During this period, because of the way we're handling the pandemic and so on, check even because of what we are attracting to the state, the level of investors, the people who are here, find out people who are in hospitality businesses. Whether those hotels, especially in Eket and so on, were not under full operation. When we checked last, there's no single of those hotels that employ less than 250 personnel within this period. Multiply that by the number and check what it used to be. So I don't know what they call unemployment. But I would also use this opportunity to say that it's the same statistics that were reeling out before we went to 2019 election. The NBS may not know the election is over. I have no more contesting election. So they shouldn't give statistics again for election. Let them give statistics now to help people. And I challenge anybody to come face to face with me and bring the way he went around picking the sample. You know, people just speak English because they speak English from the ground. People don't even understand the meaning of what statistics. If you're calling something statistics, statistics has its own procedure where how you pick the scientific method that you follow to even select your sample size and how you analyze the data and how you come up to the conclusion. Can they throw it open? I'm ready for an open debate. Let them bring their records and let's look at this so that they stop confusing people. How can you talk about statistics in Nigeria when you don't even know the population of the state that your office is located? So what statistics are they telling us now? They don't even know the population. Ask them, what's the population of Nigeria? So everybody is guesswork. So, I mean, people shouldn't run this thing. I finished election, so let them just not think they are really. That's how they did on budget. There was one they called, is it budget IT? When we took them on, because you know they played into my hands, because they came into my area of core competence. By the time we took them on, they issued an apology to us because they messed up the whole thing. So I don't want to follow that. That's why I didn't want to talk about my own state. I said, let me even take the state they say has the highest number of unemployment. Everything in those days, Bata, Leonards, everything. Well, even when you wear sandals to school, people will say it's a barmaid. These people have started entrepreneurial development even before people like us were born. How come all of a sudden in 2020 they have the highest level of unemployment? Did the spirit die? So what do you call unemployment? Akwa Ibom states in this country, you go to every single location is a construction site. Look at the infrastructure. And let me also tell you something which a lot of people don't know. In a period of dire need in an economy like ours, the fastest way to stimulate the economy and promote sustainability is investment in infrastructure. Look at our level of investment in infrastructure. Look at how many jobs that has created. And look at also the future benefits which we're investing in all this. I mean, how can people do that? We are even employing people from other states in places like Ibom Air. Do you know how many workers we have direct and indirect under Ibom Air? From the water, they drink, the food, everything they send, all the services and ancillary services, even on the airline business alone. Compute the number and let NBS know and let them come and show me the statistics that they computed. Never a time had there been an agri-revolution the way we have right now in this state. Find out how many people we have employed under agri. Even Akis, run by the SSA Technical. Even last month alone, let him tell you how many people are working in our tomato farms and the rest of them. These are all employment. These people earn much more than people working in financial services. What do you call unemployment? I want to be corrected. I don't want to take them on because, some of these things you learn to ignore. I'm not taking them on. I'm just trying to show one or two things. But if they believe they can challenge me and they want to come with that, please tell them I'm ready. I have my own figures. I have my own facts. I think I'll let my chief statistician in the state to also start showing them what statistics is all about. Also start reeling out our own figures. I think that will also help us this. But our own statistics is for planning. It's not for political reasons. It seems our own statistics is for political reasons. Because I could see immediately the issue that one party immediately came up on the media. So party sympathizes with Akwa Ibom. So is that what people are using statistics for now? It's for partisan politics. So please spare me that. I don't take that as statistics. Let's allow people to get focused and do what they are doing. So let Akwa Ibomites just ignore that. We'll continue to do what we are doing. Even look at what we are doing now towards East Nobolo, the massive development we are doing there. Do you know how many people are employed in that? And more are still going to be employed. And I don't want to keep counting. These are things that are employing a whole lot of people. So what do we mean by unemployment? So I'm not saying our people are fully, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying it is not getting worse. Rather, we are improving on what we met on ground. That's the whole message here. I'm not saying we are there. We're not there yet. But we will be there. The answer is yes. The foundation we are laying, the economic policies and few things we are doing, what we are doing right now, in the nearest future will be there. But for now, we are not there. Are we worse off? The answer is no. We're actually better off from where we kicked off. So let people just know that, and let anybody who believes what I'm saying, figures don't lie, but liars figure. In this case, I can see clearly that it's not the figures that lied, it's the liars that figure. So I can leave it on that for now. Yes. When I came into power, I said that the first thing I needed to institute was, would I call it a mechanism? No. I'm trying to look for the right word to use to make sure that whether we receive statutory allocation or not, pensioners in this state get paid quite on time. Because you see, it's part of the burden that I came with. I couldn't just imagine somebody who had worked and had retired and the whole life is dependent, and a whole lot of people too, depending on those pensions, and the people wouldn't be paid on time. So as of today, we're not, of course, you've already said so, we're not owing even 1 month. When I inherited a whole lot of pension arrears, even up to primary school teachers, as a state government, we had to intervene, even though it's not our responsibility, it's the responsibility of the local government, but we intervened. As of today, I think we are doing well. You are trying to say, what do we do? I want to say here clearly that we've put a lot of things in place, that statutory allocation or no statutory allocation, several months, not just 5, not just 6, not just 10, several months have been here. Even when the situation was so bad in 2016 and part of 2017, there is no single month in those years that we didn't pay salary on the due date. Anytime you see us delay, we've automated our payroll system. Anytime you see a slight delay, and unfortunately, my state, even though all the submarine fiber cable are passing through here, because I have the longest shoreline, those submarine cables, they don't even bring one here. And these are private sector controlled. I don't have control over that. So at times when you see some of those delays, it's because of the ICT issues. These systems, this software, they run on communication system. We have that so much within this period. A whole lot of them are relying on fixed wireless access, which I don't know where the backbone is located. So I'm not an ICT expert. But all I know is this shoreline, almost all of them, name it, and one, we have this, we have that. All of them are passing through our shoreline. If any of them can just try to draw any of those fiber optic cables into Akwa Ibom, I'm sure will do us a whole lot of good in terms of ICT. I think when we have 1 or 2 days, but I've never allowed the last day of the month to pass without all workers and pensioners getting their salaries. So we'll continue to do that as much as God gives us the grace. I must always acknowledge that.
Thank you, Excellency.
Phone calls from Nigerians anywhere? Please, wherever you are, ask me questions today. I say I want to talk less, because it seems when I talk more, you think I'm just telling you my own side of the story. Ask me anything you want to ask. And all those people who had never attracted even one granite people into the state, and they are fond of writing all kinds of things, don't listen to them. You know what happened to evil reporters in Numbers 14? Those are people who do not love our state. They just answer the name that they are from this state. And very soon, their sins will find them out. So, James, I'm ready for their questions. Please tell them I'm here. I don't need break.
Let me give us a number in the interest of our radio listeners. 0907 2405 578 0808 4254 54. Through those numbers, you can reach His Excellency. Are you ready with the calls?
Yes, I'm ready. Excellency, first caller is ready here. And, hello. Hello.
Hello?
Can you speak up, please? Yeah, does it seem to come through? Let's see if I can take this one.
Good evening.
We know your name, please. And where you're calling us from?
I'm Peter calling from here.
Peter, go ahead. His Excellency is here.
Yeah. Good evening. Good afternoon, Your Excellency.
Good afternoon, Peter. Peter the Rock.
Please, I have few questions to ask. The first question I want to ask is, please, what are you doing in respect of roads? I mean,
In respect of
uncompleted roads, or should I say ongoing? Because it seems that the number of roads that are ongoing is far more than the ones that have been completed. And secondly is about employment. So I understand that during the administration of Banquet, he embarked on before the airport was used, he embarked on the capacity building, training some of our indigenous peoples on how to fly the aeroplanes and all this. But I understand that when you brought Ibom, most of the pilots of Ibom are Yoruba. I'm not trying to sound them like a secret here, but I think it is high time to embark on capacity building to send our Akwa Ibomites on training so that they can come and man those places. And thirdly, sir, the issue of reconstructing Oron Road. So I think that resources would have been channeled to something else other than going back to reconstruct Oron Road and destroying all those buildings that have already been constructed. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Let me start with the roads to answer you. Number one, you are talking about Oron Road. Let me correct an impression in which you might not know there. We are not destroying anything. You see, if you look at, I don't know whether you've taken statistics, look at Uyo 10 years ago, look at Uyo today. What level are we? That's number one. Number two, from airport up to that where we are doing Ring Road 3, passed down to where you have the junction of Shelter Afrique, there were no side drains. There were no side drains. And the city is expanding. So if you allow from that place up to airport to be totally developed, it's going to cost you more in the nearest future. We are not building Uyo of today. We are building Uyo of the future. So if you don't expand, and that's the gateway into the city, if you don't expand that in the morning, I don't know how many times you observe, in the morning when schools are in session, especially when nursery schools, primary schools are in session, to pass through those roads gets a little bit narrow. And mind you, people still park by the roadside in Africa, even other places of the world. You can't stop that. It's so difficult to stop. How many will you arrest in one day? So the best thing is expand the infrastructure to carry the traffic in your city. It's done everywhere. There are some places across the globe that they have to tear across a whole city to create new roads. We don't want to wait till that time. You see, the eye of a leader into the future is different from the eye of another person. We are looking at Uyo, and if you check on that airport road, we are building a luxury estate. We are just soliciting for IOCs and those people to come and then relocate to Akwa Ibom. If they all move to those estates that are being created, both private and government, along airport road, which road will they pass? Just narrow one lane. How will your child go to school? It means that somebody coming out there will spend hours, and we don't want that. You see, the issue, the problem with Africans is that we don't plan ahead. That's why we find ourselves where we are today. If you look at the growth rates and then look at that level of infrastructure, are we matching the growth rate with the level of infrastructure on that road? The answer is no. Today we are suffering in education because the growth in population of Nigeria did not match the growth in investment in education. That's why we are suffering. So we don't want to wait for that. We must plan ahead of time. That road did not have anything, drainage, no outfall drain, no side drain, nothing. So we are trying to create that now before the whole of that place gets built up. Go and mark my word down. That is going to be one of the fastest growing real estate area, you can experience in recent time. So that's what we take there. You come about the issue of roads. You see, when you say there are more roads under construction, it is out of passion and out of compassion that government moved that way. Because if you check Uyo as a capital city, there was a day, if you remember, there was a day sometime last year, I commissioned 28 internal roads in one day. I am moved by the fact that once we leave the major roads into the inner streets, People don't have roads to pass through. There are some places that I can't remember the names of all those places now. I didn't write them down. Some of them off that Nsika side, some of those places that even if it rains, people couldn't enter. And a lot of people were living there. So we are moved under compassion to open up as much as we can. Even if we don't finish it up 100%, we believe government is continuing. But that shows that government is thinking about people living in that area. And I want you to believe that we are doing it in good faith. We're not just doing, I don't do political jobs. I do it based on the needs of the people. So when you see people suffering to come out of those areas, and people are living there, these are people that voted for you. These are people that are part of the state. How many people can live along the major roads? So you must open these things. It's purely out of concern. We'll continue to open more. Let people even have access and come out. We may not complete all, but at least even if we finish and then we complete 80%. I talked about critical mass the other time. Instead for me to just dwell on one major road for eternity, I can also do, as I'm doing, do some internal roads in some of these places and link people up with the major roads. But the major ones will still be completed because we are building this thing a long time. And also, when we planned this development, nobody, I write it, quote me anywhere, I write it down that nobody knew. I've never seen all the prophecies of 2020. I've not seen one prophecy that told us that there will be COVID-19 in 2020. Even though the thing showed face in December. I've not seen one yet. So this, which means that there's what we call, lawyers will call it force majeure. I mean, I would take this to be force majeure. When we were planning and we were opening these things, we didn't know there would be locked down for 5 months. We didn't know situations like this will apply. And mind you, this is also a country. Find out what was the cost of bitumen as of December last year. What's the cost of bitumen now? Even in terms of availability, I don't know whether you know that Nigeria still imports bitumen as a country. We have 200 million people. So there are so many things that come to play. I know what you see, Peter, is just the road. You don't know how it comes about. Then you talked about unemployment and training people. I think you've also lost touch because we called stakeholders meeting last year and said that we are willing to train our people. I'm not even sure you have the facts. Go and check the engineers who are maintaining Ibom Air. We actually brought people from CRJ in Canada to be resident here and work with our indigenes. Go and check. All those young engineers are Akwa Ibomites. We attracted them from everywhere when they finish school so that they can have hands-on training. They are all Akwa Ibomites who are engineers there. You talked about pilots. You see, one thing you don't know about airplane is that you can be trained on Boeing 737, you can be trained on Airbus, you can be trained on any other one that, I don't want to bore you with names of aircraft here now. But you see, you must be rated specifically on certain aircraft. We have Akwa Ibomites who were not rated on CRJ. And mind you, you need to do a cost-benefit analysis. Are you going to delay the commencement of an airline because you needed like 20 pilots, when if you commence that airline, you can quickly employ 400 people? Why these ones go on rating courses? We made this announcement last year. We got some people, we didn't get enough. The few that we got, listen to me, it takes a lot. Some of the Akwa Ibomites who are interested in even doing the pilot training, we are trying to even get them passports. More than 90% of them did not even have a passport. We are trying to get the school abroad that will accept them on admission. We are trying to get them admission. We are also trying to get visa. As we were doing this, by the last quarter of last year, beginning of first quarter of this year, almost immediately coronavirus started, almost all embassies shut down. We have not been able to get admissions for these people to continue. Ibom A started flying July last year. We've just done 1 year as flying. So Rome was not built in a day. Even if you go to Isaiah 66, God himself spoke in Isaiah chapter 66, he says, can a nation be born in 1 day? So have a little bit of patience. I know it's a problem with Africa. We lack patience. Why not have a little bit of patience? These people you're saying they are from other places, they are also helping train your people as well. There are some people who were not rated on CRJ 900 who are probably co-pilots, who are Akwa Ibom people. These people will also help train them, so that by the time they go on rating course, instead of spending 3-4 months on a rating course, they can even spend less number of months and come out. See, you cannot do this in one day or in one night. No nation survives on its own alone. So we need other people to survive. So I want to believe when you are criticizing that you did not have enough facts, I want you to go on with the facts I'm giving you. All those engineers, 100% of them are Akwa Ibomite, the engineers, 100%. We picked these aeronautical engineers, they were scattered all over the place. It's like what we're working on education now. We've tapped all the brains of Akwa Ibomites, huge professors who are everywhere, coming, putting them together. So tomorrow now, if you see us bringing 1 or 2 people to come and compliment what they are doing, you say, oh, you can't know it all. You need other people to survive. So my dear brother Peter, we started that, but as of today, I don't want to send these people to local schools and then tomorrow they are deficient in one way or the other, because this thing is subject to what you have on ground, the facilities you have. And we must admit certain things. I can admit that I have such schools well equipped in Nigeria. I don't want to send them there. We were working on a school outside the country, preferably was in US and also in Canada. And as I said earlier, we had some bottles, a whole lot of them, no passport, nothing, no visa. How could I have sent them? And without all this, and then, mind you, for you to be a student, there's a form they have in America, they call Form IC-20. For you to qualify for that Form IC-20, there's a whole lot. Peter, you may not have this information. I'm happy for you to ask me, for me to explain this rather than going to social media. So thank you, but just allow a little bit of patience. We are building on this. Peter, I want you to also know that before these factories also started, take for example syringe. One of the conditions we gave the investor was that you must train our people in Europe. You won't mention something like that. We sent all the engineers, all our Akwa Ibom people at that time. They were trained in Turkey and Austria, and they came back. They are solid engineers. Most of them read engineering school. They didn't know how to turn certain things to turn to mold. Why not? You see, a mouth that does not commend the commendable, that mouth does not have a justification to condemn the condemnable. So a mouth that commends the commendable must be the same mouth that condemns the condemnable. So let that mouth be the same mouth. Commend what is commendable, condemn what is condemnable. Everything shouldn't just be condemnation, Peter. But thank you, it's well noted, but I also want to believe you accept my explanation. Please don't criticize about Udom Road. We need to do drainage on that road. We need to take water off that road so that there can be development in that area and expand the city to accommodate people. Uyo is already getting choked and a lot coming in. With the tenants in the 21-story building, trust me, real estate on that road will be something else. That's why we are trying to develop an estate on that same road too. So just see how you can cooperate with us. You cannot also eat an omelette without breaking an egg. So you can also call for development of the city and then allow those shops that are donning the streets there. I can't leave those shops there. I must expand the city. You might not know it now. Even Jesus Christ is happening in his time. That's why he said in John's Gospel.
Are you there?
That you might not do what he's doing, but herein after, you get to know. So you might not know what we are trying to do. 10, 15 years later, you just look up and thank God that you had people who thought ahead of time. Okay. Dubai today, people thought ahead of time that you fly to. So we must also put on our thinking cap, Peter, okay? Thank you for your comment. We appreciate your question.
Yes, sir, there's someone that's been standing online for...
Please, put the person on
hello,
again.
Hello, can you tell us your name?
Thank you. Okay, Patrick. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Your Excellency, there's another one here still on COVID-19.
Okay.
All the way from Daytona Beach in Florida in the United States of America says, Your Excellency, I like what you're doing on COVID-19 in Akwa Ibom State. But sir, please, when are you bringing on School of Medicine to Akwa Ibom State University, Idara and Banquet?
Thank you. Idara, thank you. I don't know if you've listened to me in the past 2-3 months. I keep repeating the team that we're assembling to look at our education curricula in total. And medicine is not excluded here at all. We're even considering what I call postgraduate college of medicine. That could really help us, because that's also lacking in Nigeria. That takes care of, in case of a lot of, quaternary hospitals that people are trying to set up. We are considering that seriously. The experts are working. I've been repeating everything about our tertiary institution in the past 3 months. I've been singing it over time. Some of them, we had to even bring them from US to come and stay here so that they can work with us. People like Professor Ilarinyam hasn't gone back to US for over 1 year now. He's been here working day and night on the new education curricula that we're going to follow. So we will bring in that. We don't just want to bring in College of Medicine in the name of it. College of Medicine must start in an existing hospital. And so many things must be considered, because you see, you will never have a second chance of creating the first impression. If we launch into the market in a substandard form, that will be the impression everybody will have, that it's a substandard school. But if we launch with the best practice anywhere in the world, that will remain, and that quality will remain. Today, the whole world is applauding our launching into Ibom Air. That is the best domestic airline you can ever fly in this country, because we took our pains. We started planning Ibom Air since 2016. We started first with documentation, procedure manuals and everything, and simulation of what and what could take place, and also a lot of sensitivity analysis before you saw Ibom Air coming to fly. It didn't just come overnight. It didn't drop from the air. It started from 2016. I became governor in 2015. 2016, we started planning Ibom Air. Myself, kudos to Captain Udom. We started on a playful note, on a drawing board, and that's what you're seeing today. Everybody is applauding. So we don't just want to do that in quote so-called African standard in everything. But those people are doing it well. The only difference is that the attitude and attention to details. So we must pay attention to details also as Africans, so that we can get it right. And our finishing will be as equally as competitive as anywhere in the world. So don't rush us on some of these things about education, because we want to get it right. And we will be there. It might not be 100% during my time, but the foundation is laid for us to do the right thing. And once we have a good foundation, I believe people will build on it and will get the desired result. So thank you from Florida for acknowledging that in tertiary institution we will do that. Akwa Ibom State University will get to that point. Thank you.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Emmanuel. I'm calling from Ibeno local government. Good evening, Your Excellency.
Good evening, Emmanuel.
So I want to thank you for what you've done, Ibom Air and everything. But I have a proposal that can help the economy of the state. I don't want the situation whereby you tell me to pass through maybe your commissioner, your PA, because normally it gets lost on the way. I'm looking for how I can meet you one-on-one, a round-table discussion. Then if you buy the idea, fine. I know it's something that will work very well. It's something that will boost the economy of the state. That's what I want. And please, I hope my request is being granted. Thank you.
What does she want? In order to discuss what? She has a proposal, and she doesn't want me to send her to commissioner or chief of staff. Okay, since she doesn't want commissioner, Emmanuel, since you don't want to meet with commissioner, you meet with either secretary to the state government or chief of staff. The governor is so busy.
Hello? Hello? Oh, hi. This is Jemima Etienne. I'm calling from Manchester.
Jemima, happy Sunday to you.
Hello.
Jemima, happy Sunday to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, and same to you. I just want to make a commendation. I am a healthcare professional. I am from Uyo, but based in Manchester. I just wanted to thank His Excellency for the state-of-the-art medical facility that he has put up to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. I have personally visited the modular laboratory, was done by the World Health, what he's doing in the health sector, and ask him to please involve more healthcare professionals from the diaspora. I am talking as the president of Akwa Ibom community in Europe. I want to believe, that when more healthcare professionals in the diaspora and Europe in particular involved, I am sure we will have a better healthcare facilities, not just the facilities, but the healthcare services in Akwa Ibom State. That's what my call is about. So please, yes, we have the facility, but I think more attention should now be, paid to the training and development of healthcare professionals, ongoing training on yearly basis, on regular basis. Thank you, Your Excellency, for what you're doing in Akwa Ibom, especially in the healthcare sector.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for commending what we are doing. But let me go straight and answer you. In terms of training, our training halls are full. We keep doing that, not just only healthcare. Civil servants. I announced in the month of June that we'll take on from level 10 to 17 to train them on certain forms of leadership and decision-making processes and management generally. That has been going on. You can cross-check that with the civil servants, and they really appreciate it. And we had to take an Institute of Transformation Management to come and take that training. In terms of healthcare, Jamama, we've gotten a group that comprises foreigners and Nigerians who have consistently in the past 3 years been coming to train our people. They're coming from the US. I keep saying so. We must take from best practice, and then certain things that you don't know, you must admit that you don't know, so that people can come and train you. But I want to assure you that we are still building a lot more of our medical infrastructure, and we need a whole lot of you who are outside the country. You must indicate interest. Ibom Specialty Hospital is being expanded. If you go there now, you see a whole lot of things we are doing. We are even also putting another category, 3 or 4 labs there, also to cater for that place. There were no dialysis unit and so on. All those things, we're putting a whole lot now. I think up to about 6 or 10 units of that. So many things that we are trying to put in that specialty hospital, and we need the experts. Not only that, we want to replicate at least something in between the general hospital and the teaching hospital in about 10 federal constituencies. Something a little bit higher than the so-called general hospital in Nigeria, and not as much as a teaching hospital, something in between. But we'll still call them general hospital, and that will suffice for all the federal constituencies. We are constructing Eket and Eket now to complete it. Once that is done, as of today, I said the last batch of equipment we're importing to re-equip those hospitals, I think just about 2 remaining. We've cleared some between my last appearance and now. I think we've cleared additional 2, and 2 more should be coming out very soon. Plus what we already have in the warehouse. So I want to make sure we leave first-class medical facilities. I talked about ambulance in my 3 meetings ago on this media chat, and as of today, I think that number is increasing. After I spoke about that ambulance, we added 8, out of which 2 can run full ICU from here to Lagos without any issue with the patient. If we have a patient and that patient needs to get to Lagos, well taken care of, as if that patient is in ICU, we have 2 ambulances that can do that, brand new, good vehicles that can actually run there. And of course, you've seen, we're also getting support from corporate bodies. BOA just gave us 5. So even what we want to put in place in terms of ambulance, so that if anybody has a case, anytime, 24/7, just a phone call. And once we finish that, we're going to give you a hunting line. But as of today, you can still make use of our case management center, situation room. I intend to keep that situation room, till the day I leave office, so that it can also serve other purposes. That situation room is also serving as a security network, because a lot of information we are getting on security is from that situation room. People will call us in the night. Some bad guys are somewhere. Before they know it, we are there. And it helps a lot. So the same will also go for now, for medical attention. So that if you have any issue, call us anytime, 24/7. You will get ambulance service by your doorpost to help you out. I don't want to lose any Akwa Ibomite for any reason. Let it be that it is beyond medical issues. Then the rest we leave for God. But we don't want, because of carelessness or lack of attention, we lose anybody. You know, the Bible says even that my people perish for lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge could include carelessness. And I don't want that at all. We want to make sure lives are safe, people are healthy, so that we can have a very, very strong people to work. So, thank you, Jemima. Please, if you offer us your services, we can discuss terms of employment, and we'll be happy to have you in Ibom Specialty Hospital. And I'm sure you will generate enough revenue to take care of the overheads with your expertise.
Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Evian. I'm calling from Aba.
Abba?
Yes. Yes.
Abba.
Great, sir. I'm very happy to have you and my dear governor there in the studio.
Thank you, Effiong.
Thank you, Effiong.
We've lost the call.
Hello? Hello?
Excellency. Good evening, Your Excellency.
Good evening, sir.
Your Excellency, my name is John Eket. I'm calling from Inugu government area.
Thank you, John.
Your Excellency, it would be better, it would have been better to thank you or commend you for the Ibom Air for everything, especially the fight against the COVID-19 that the Akwa State has become exemplary. But then there's one thing some of us have failed to recognize in you. And that is the fact that you have ensured peace in Akwa Ibom State. That is paramount. That all the industries you attracted to the state would not have been possible if there were no peace in Akwa Ibom State. That is very, very important. Yes, we may not have gotten every other thing we wanted by now, but then you still have 2-3 years to go. But the fact that you've ensured that Akwa Ibom State, that must be some years ago, was the place people were avoiding. Now everybody in Nigeria wants to come to Akwa Ibom State because they know they will sleep with their 2 eyes closed, because they know that they will come here to have peace. That alone is, to me, a very big plus for you. So, Your Excellency, it is just to tell you that you sustain the peace. You sustain the peace even beyond your administration, and ensure that those who take over from you will also make peace a part of their legacy. So I congratulate you, not just for Ibom Air, not just for the industries that are listed across the state, but for the mere fact that you have made us proud and you have ensured peace in the state. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate your kind words, but you made something very fundamental there. You said we should ensure that when we are leaving, the person taking over from us should sustain that peace. You see, you must be for peace to reign on planet Earth and for Jesus Christ to have control over every storm. One of his names had to be the Prince of Peace. So I just want to also assure you that you have a role to play. If you can listen to me a little, knowing also fully well, I am not interested in third term through surrogacy. I've said so over and over again. You can quote me anywhere. The day I leave, I have enough to keep me busy. I'm so much missing a lot that is going on outside public service. So I'm not interested, but I'm interested in what you're interested in. I'm interested in every life here. So the only thing you can help us do is the same way you're shouting now that we want to sustain peace. Make sure no cultist is the governor of Akwa Ibom State. Then you will ensure peace. Because once you bring in a cultist, there's going to be an element of bias. And the cult group he belongs to is going to claim the supremacy over all others. And there is going to be a fight, which is also the same thing I'm doing in some local government areas. There are some local government areas that are highly volatile. I had to step in to ensure whoever is the
chairman of that local government, if they go tomorrow and nominate a cultist, I will cancel that nomination and we'll go for another nomination. So we must, one of the qualifications, because some of these things at times it's not written in the faces. It is only when it gives problem. There's a local government right now where they are calling all kinds of names. They say either Icelander, the BAMs, and so on. Last Thursday, I arrested 17 of them. Today, I just called the Commissioner of Police to make sure he does not release one of them. Every single crime we have in Akwa Ibom State today can be attached to cultism. There's none of the armed robbers we've arrested that does not belong to a cult group. There's none of the kidnappers we've arrested that does not belong to a cult group. So the only way as a state we must ensure peace and prosperity of this state is to make a way 100% with cultism, and then we'll have peace. And once we have peace, other things will follow. So you have a role to play. Just join me. Let everybody join me to ensure the next governor of Akwa Ibom State, only God. And that's all. And once you look up to God, because the Lord's Prayer says that for God, to him belongs the kingdom, the power, and the glory. So once you're talking governor, you're talking power, and that belongs to God. So you must take that power back to God for him to, he's the Prince of Peace. It's not what man can give. It's what God can give, and it's only God that gives peace. And you must also acknowledge him. 1 Corinthians 10 will tell you that you cannot eat on the table of the Lord and also eat on the table of the devil. There will be a clash. So please, thank you for your kind words, and thank you for offering to join us in this fight against cultism. And what you're hearing in one or two local government areas, you can bear me witness, it's 100% due to that, because 2 or 3 cult groups are clashing. They call themselves Dubems, Icelanders, and before you know it, another one has joined also. But we are on the trail. You can discover that in the past 3 weeks, they are not coming up again, because we try to make sure we crush them. And I will stop at nothing to crush all those who are coming up to make that local government. People are running away from villages in some places there. I will stop at nothing in crushing those people. So we are deploying a whole lot of troops. But please, since you've provoked me to this level now, let me also warn here, it is not our intention to do or to deploy soldiers, police, SSS to those areas. You are forcing us to do that. And once these people come, they have legal guns, you have illegal gun. And there's no how legal meets illegality, that legal will not there's no how. Legal thing will always take over from illegality. The same way light will always overshadow darkness. So it is not in our interest for these things to be the way people want it. But please let parents talk to their wards. Let uncles, mothers talk to your children. They gain nothing from going that way. Please let them desist from it. If they don't desist from it, I can't guarantee any other thing on their own, because it can't be because of one man a whole village will run away. We are rather allow the whole village to stay than that one man overrunning the whole village. So I needed to sound that to everybody, that we are peace-loving people. We want to maintain the peace. That let people, according to comedian yesterday, said, let everybody calm down. Let them all calm down. It is time to go the right way, not the wrong way any longer. Mboma change. Thank you.
All right, Excellency, we take another call. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
The name and location, please.
I am Fono Basnukut from Uyo. I'm calling from Uyo. Please, I want to ask a question on what is going on. I want to ask if how academic excellence could be rewarded, because I emerged as the overall best graduating student in the last Akwa Ibom State College of Education convocation ceremony, and up to today nothing is given as reward to encourage other upcoming students on that. At least something should be done, at least to help me further my education. But up till now, nothing is done about that. Please, how else could academic excellence be rewarded? Thank you, sir.
Okay, let me correct you there. The last few convocations I've attended in AXU, in Akwa Poly, all the first-class students there, they were rewarded on the spot. Go and check the video and go and follow up with those institutions. If you say you graduated from Aviation, that's College of Education. Unfortunately, the day I came to attend your convocation, your school management poorly, I'm saying so to the whole world, poorly managed your convocation processes. I had to leave. And that was a minus. And you know, at times, one man can cause the misfortune of so many other people. It was so poorly managed, and that's why we had to change that provost. So when I came back, I ordered the provost to be changed. And I've given you a better provost now. So, and also you bringing this up here, I think what you could have done would have been to write to Minister of Education that you came out as the best graduating student in that convocation. We can't punish you because of the mismanagement of the provost of that time. So please let the Minister of Education know that you graduated as the best student, and the same reward that we've given to all other tertiary institutions will be extended to you. And we don't discriminate, please. We don't do anything based on color, anything, or your face. We reward people. We are out for justice and fairness to all. So whatever we've done to other tertiary institutions that gave us the best graduating students, we will do for you immediately. You can check that I couldn't attend your convocation because you people were not serious, and I'm a very serious-minded person.
Thank you, Excellency. Before we take some more calls, the next seems to have she's been waiting to ask a question.
Nene, please hit me.
Yes, sir. Speaking of the word system,
Thank you.
recently we cancelled the 2019 promotion examination, and questions are coming on reactions among. Can you please show more light? Can we get to understand why that's happening?
Nene, you know why I'm happy? Why so many states in Nigeria are retrenching? We are promoting. So that gladdens my heart that people are talking about promotion. They are not talking about retrenchment or anything. But let me say something. I think the Commissioner for Information was quite clear. He talked about inclusivity or inclusiveness. If I can, I don't know which grammar. There's a musician who says that grammar not be my language. So he talked about inclusiveness in the whole exercise. And well, we don't say one thing and do another. So if we talked about inclusiveness, we meant everything out of it. It wasn't just a governor's decision, it was total ESCO decision. I mean, we run a government where the governor does not claim he knows it all. The whole thing was stable before ESCO. So I'm just glad that people are talking about promotion where so many states are retrenching. And it's unfortunate that people just go to social media and say what they don't know. And these people have not missed the promotion. What we said was, can it be a little bit more inclusive? That's all. And the process started from that same day. As I'm talking to you right now, even today, I questioned the head of service. How come they've not written the exams again? But that, something I must let people know. That person that is complaining, let the person go back and write the exams. I'm not the governor that will promote you if you don't write promotion exams. So I won't do it too. I will not do it. Because if you want to be promoted, go and write promotion exams and pass, and then you'll be promoted. That's the only simple thing we are saying here. Don't just think you will sleep in your house. A whole lot of people, let me also say this, because we are not going to tolerate it. A whole lot of people claim to be in the civil service of Akwa Ibom, and they don't even they are not resident in the state. I mentioned this over time. Some of them are staying in Lagos, some in Abuja, and they are in my payroll. Why should I pay you for not working for me? You see, people should also be fair to government, because everything, I know people will complain, but please, once in a while, be fair to us. If there are thousands and millions of people who have not gotten an opportunity to come and work, and then you have the opportunity to work, please put in your best. You can't get employed, go and sit somewhere and then be collecting salaries simply because of ICT. You have your PIN and so on. And when you want to check, you now rush to you and be checked, and then you rush back. The day we know that you refund all the monies we paid you in the past. So people talking about promotion exercise, I don't know what the complaint is, because it's only one. I mean, I was to approve the thing in September, and before September we would have finished. So I said by last quarter of this year. Last quarter of the year starts October 1. So between now and October 1 we would have finished. So they've not lost any time in it. So promotion will still take place, but let them go and write exams and let everybody. I mean, I don't want people to feel some of them were not given a fair chance. Let's give everybody a fair chance. I'm a very fair-minded person. Let there be a level playing field for everybody, please, so that subjectivity will not come in. I don't want people to cry foul over anything. So that's the only thing. I think Commissioner for Information did justice in explaining what happened, and was an ESCO decision, not just government. And the head of service was there, representing the entire civil servant of the state. And he too is a fair man. He's an elder in Lutheran Church, so he reads the Bible every day.
Thank you, Excellency. In case it just finished, this is the governor speaks. We're on all the radio stations now, Prime Minister, and of course on social media. We're going to take a break at this point in time. When we come back, Sammy X is itching to ask some more questions, and so is the next.
James, without overruling you, since the program is ending at 5:45, you can run me another 15 minutes, and okay, I'm not tired.
Excellency, we thought we should.
No, I'm not tired.
Okay, so let's have a call to the Excellency. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello, good evening. Let's have this. Okay, I think we have this one. Hello. Hello. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Margaret. I'm calling from Lagos. Good evening, Your Excellency.
Good evening.
Your Excellency, I want to commend you for establishing Ibom Fair. Since its commencement, the profile of Akwa Ibom has continued to rise.
Thank you.
So, Your Excellency, I pray that God will grant you the grace to make Ibom Air an international airline.
Very soon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your Excellency.
Thank you so much. Very soon.
Thank you, Excellency.
Very soon.
Okay, Sammy.
Your Excellency, yesterday the Minister of State for Petroleum and Natural Resources announced a partnership between the states and the federal government.
Correct.
To create or provide for a logistics center here in Akwa Ibom. What does this concern for the state?
Let me first of all thank the oil and gas industry for bringing their retreat to Akwa Ibom. I think we said a lot last night when we were doing the gala night, and you know, the people watching me, listening to me on this platform is much more than the people who listened to me last night. So permit me not to say everything. They say do not count your chicken before they are hatched. So I still believe those things now are all promises. But are we willing to partner with them? The answer is yes. And I mean every partnership promise I made last night to them. In terms of providing, playing our own role, we are ready. You know, one thing about people that people don't know about investment is that if you see an investment that is going to yield returns, you can raise finances anywhere and fund it. And know that with proper management and a good business plan, that there's no how the returns won't come. So I don't want to go into details again today, so that people won't start saying, how could they have promised that? I know what I'm going through in some of the investment that we're trying to bring to the state. I want you to believe that even the vehicle assembly plant that we are just constructing now is the first groundbreaking ceremony I did in July 2015, and was seriously frustrated, seriously, because of certain things which I might not mention online now. So permit me not to go into details, but trust me, what we are doing, we are laying solid economic foundation for this state, and we'll stop at nothing in laying those foundations. And we can't sit on over 25% of oil and gas reserves of this country, and then we don't have anything. If you want me to be specific, one of the things I asked NNPC yesterday was a depot. You can't believe we don't even have a depot. That's why petroleum products in Akwa Ibom is more expensive. It's as if we're not oil producing state. We don't have a depot here. Nothing has been done. And right there and then, they promised that we can work together. I promised that I'm going to give them free land. I'll draw electricity to where the depot will be located. But let it be located that way, it will be easy for me also to give them electricity and the rest of those things. But they will do the road to the depot while I do the rest. But I'll give them free access because it's the community that wants the depot that will take it to. And if the community does not want it, some of this noise you hear on social media, there are a lot of things that are into certain places. I said so about 3 or 4 charts in the past. That Economics 101 will tell you about localization. Is it localization of industry or location of industries? That there are certain factors that aid that. So people just ignore all that and then they keep complaining. So now it is the location that will be suitable and will also be friendly for that depot that will be granted. So I want to believe that we are setting up a committee this week. Once we hold our ESCO meeting this week, we'll set up a committee to work with NNPC to make sure we create a depot. And that will also reduce the price of petroleum products as we are experiencing right now in the state. And also create a whole lot more. Mind you, if you listen to my speech that last night, I also asked for an LPG plant. I want to believe that they will also include that, an LPG plant, because there's a whole lot we can also do in order to at least have a whole lot of conservation in terms of our forest and so on. People shouldn't just be cutting trees for firewood all through. So many things embedded in what we did in the last 2 weeks. I will not announce all, but let some of these things unfold as people get to see them. Even some people are surprised to see what we are doing in East Nobolo. I didn't never announce that, and I don't even intend to announce it. But we'll keep partnering, but we are in a haste to do it. So please, let me also use this platform. If you are from Barenin and you are out of Nigeria, call your youth in Barenin. Any day they come out to block the express road again, the law will take its course. They should allow development to take place. If they have anything to complain of, there's a commissioner that comes from there. We have House of Assembly member from there. We have a local government chairman who is there. So let them channel their complaints to the right place rather than going to block an express economic road. It will not be tolerated in Akwa Ibom. I'm sorry to say so. They could see that we had policemen there, but they didn't even fire a tear gas because we wanted that to serve as a warning. We have the power to contain any of such nonsense. I call it nonsense because I don't see sense in what they were doing. Because if you really want development, it's a table to discuss that. And the same Barenin people, I went there to set up a refinery. Even when we were clearing the place for the coconut plantation, they went and used machetes on the caterpillar driver. And the guy almost died. So you don't want development. So why complain? So if you want development, let's come to the table and discuss development. Don't go and block the economic road, or don't make it seem as if you want to disrupt economic activities of other people. We will not tolerate it, and they know. I mean, we don't take that nonsense in this government at all. So please, this should also serve as warning to all other people. And let me also use this to warn East Nobolo youths. We're not going to take that nonsense at all. We're out for development that will benefit everybody. Don't just go and be selfish and be asking for MOU that will benefit only you and your family. We will not take it. Every single land in the whole state belongs to government. So you don't own any land. It's owned by government. That's the Land Use Act. So don't claim ownership of any land. It's government that owns the land. So any investor we are putting there is for the benefit of the entire state. Not just for one person, not just for one family, not just for one village head. And let me warn the village heads who are going around trying to disrupt operations. I'll withdraw your certificate. So let people allow things to run normal. We need to be a little bit more civil post-COVID-19, since that's what everybody wants to hear now. Everything now is post-COVID-19. That's a new era of everything in the on planet Earth. We will not tolerate all those indiscipline where people just do things anyhow. So let's be civil in the way we go about things. If you have any complaint, please, we have enough people to listen to you. People were clamoring that, okay, that I'm choked with so much work, I'm too busy. We've created a full office now of chief of staff to the. I mean, a lot of things. SSG is there. I mean, if myself and SSG were choked with other administration, chief of staff will take care of a lot of these things. I mean, we are out to cater for 7.2 million people, not just for one person, not for one village, not for one family. So let people have this at the back of their minds. I mean, we are setting a standard that we don't want people to come against it anytime. So thank you for raising that, and thank you for the platform for me to sound this warning to all our Akwa Ibom people. I had to speak in English so that all those who claim to be from Akwa Ibom who do not understand vernacular, they can also hear me.
Thank you, Excellency. As we begin the kind of formalities, I'd like to inform you that
oh, Iko is Rufo.
I'd like to remind you.
Okay, we will tell Iko is Rufo later.
About 2.9 people following Your Excellency all over the world. And before we come to Iko is Rufo, Your Excellency, let's ask some personal questions. I want to ask this question for the some high-profile personalities have been affected by COVID-19 all over the world. As our governor would like to know what personal security have you taken to make sure you are well for us. And two, I ask this question because a lot of people have said the governor will not be using face mask on this problem. I'd like you to use this explanation.
I have my face mask here. But if I use the face mask, you won't hear me clearly because I'm speaking to the whole world. That's number one. And number two, COVID-19 has its own protocol. Look at the distance between me and the people talking. So with this distance, no risk. Every single equipment in this room is also sterilized. If I'm using the right medical word or default, as the case may be. So we don't expose ourselves to risk unduly. So don't worry. I use face mask a whole lot. It's only when I come on this program. If I use face mask, you won't hear me well. So, and we also observe the necessary protocol for my not using the face mask. And you say a whole lot of high-profile people have contacted this. It's not a good thing to contact now. So if it's money, you can give me. But if it's coronavirus, don't give me. I don't want coronavirus. Don't even pray for it. I need money. If you check, is it in Ecclesiastes? What God gave to Solomon was wisdom and money. He said those are the two necessary things. He said these two things are very necessary. Wisdom, money. God has given us wisdom. It's money that is remaining. Add money to wisdom. Give us 3 years. If you know Akwa Ibom State again, then you now know that we were not sent by God. Well, Kiko is Rufo. I know in Inauguration this program as that's why I'm trying nam yado kwa afyong bedmbo ntem ventangado Kiko nkangen sitapagaro nam ma ato ake nien dito ya etano sigitapego kanafun yetemegbo nyiri yematapeba pelogu government efen ntuge ni daka nkono ikang kama nkono bon kama bogido cultis mbrembi wonsioge village awinyi magotam kodo ani do inemesin mi ato man on biekon omuno kama getai kan aka ibade iburu meka ana mbodo ana mbotape so mbo tan ko no iburu mi ineme minister ato erizemben ogbose muno getu ntenwendo idi nkamisi no bolo idi tonno idi bogi siak metie ndi bikami senteme ogbose igi for Ibeno de gigi to gaomi igi to ntenwendo di igi for metie do amakan de muno we do idi nte ge do idi do e mai tang bon clearly ki do idi ken tak emem aba ki yemeri encourage mestere fenja idi on ke emem afon so nyini kemigi do overnight nyini yage bokko nyina to mbo aba omiam ko si yemi dok ndieti anso kontiero it you see ifia not less than it mitioke e indicate interest ebo COVID-19 ama akore kisuki dok idi Akwa Ibom. That's why do nyini suki try dinam omia itie se yem ikono ndi so that atry anwam economy nyin nti si akitiero se mewedo dong mitie se mewena untum e kambanya no fo nyini bopodo idam. I think a boy kanyan ani bro me ebo because e member state so doko boke we no ya wo ba we ta na me ebo yondro ye make sure kimina mo sezenam bi osidi yememem mbo awoge bo yememem mbe no fi mbo tell those people be yememem ye no me be mami yememem ye nam stere ba yememem do be mo issue so ya mewe dion se na mewe ngedion se tang me nka mi awo mbo gba ide do ya se gre wo aka federal government. Let me be specific. What on the time now? Don't get back. Keep back. Corridor of presidency and so on. I thought some federal government boy get on more 1 kilometer. Itage. At you some governor and yen social media. I get you in time now. I know your warning. Abo. Ama yimido governor. Yari contest election of the governor. Okay, it is only case statement. Okay, me we give me here somewhere some governor yen. Ibo yibo. Afo bogi ba presidency so itioge. Nsoke beno yon this state. Nsoke beno yon di. Attack because federal government come na week be see come nam development anya tan ko ufang we fang ke federal government no yekbo ebo ya adi popni and so on. So ana mo timo some governor yen e dok uta ibno bisi na issue because omo ibe na mbon de ginyo di stereo eso ke kerenyang edi ba ke center so ke bene nyo edi so aga ni uta ibno me ko do mo no item so that edi on ebo ki buy any genius adi ni madness he would. So if the big game young war more the other side obodo Emmanuel ya what bed nyini ba for aka ni uta ibno ko do mo no ide betiti imi ma constructive criticisms immediately we criticize kesi na be yaro constructive kunam sentiments edi bentemen this state si ta na try na mi try na try di benteme mem friend this state and nyini bi nyimme ino yen ya ben friend aben this state then si Ibom age bo ke so ki ko no plane mo no wo ke mun sini ya ri ko no awo ye metim bo ana iro yen te o se ta mo te ko do. So he make sure ke di yen adakonye bo kido ira di ro yen gbon si dama yak ayak state ba ke mem ayak ye continue with developments in Eket state ama me try ye woro nyo ibo ke wu yeme mfna ki yeme mem bo ndi usonye the example no frewo ke se ta witness mo song mo wenyen ke wu yeme mfna isma roba nka tetem nda election oba ke tetem or so on ya ya development see continue aka iso aka igrabu imine connection no center abene ben body ya benefit mo wo ere ke bo ki de kamba wo afra bo se fonie ton gi so afra ton it you see if I ke fo siak ata tailoring workshop avosia ese ya ni toko mo ro resta na kama fam e bo. So ili ni me we this person now you njemi cause in France you try now you di cause in France state aye me di provoke mbarawa ya sin France state and you really make it because in mem si ba state around and I know everything is sustainable. So get the young to ibn robo mo no ki yem constructive criticism ntem for fan robo pamba ba unsom is very good. I mean, we found a bomb because he can't offend. You don't work him in Dundee bomb. James, a quick some kid on the car bomb. I put on your 24 on I come up as Akwa Ibom. Who's only by at all? Say, what you get on your friend? You say to me now, instead of my way to make it to Ebabian. So, see to me, the young boy in river, you side Musong, go make it also the government. They are see also in true. Puru no Rabbi the governor. Because I often can I get complete on. So, I do, and put them in under pressure. To make sure Kimina may benefit any dividends of democracy. That's why I couldn't decide Musongo. Because I'm asking also who get rid of Moto what the governor. And me Moto get almost 5 years, over 5 years, almost 6 years now. Indiana Moto fan, only one BMW get near the governor. Because I'm already carried it gives you get the Moto. I get again I bought for you. To get conclusion again, I put under pressure. This is 100% service to the people. Let us not get people who don't have the interest of the state to provoke situation that will disrupt the peace. We will not allow the peace we are enjoying in this state to be disrupted by anybody. And any attempt will tell them what government is all about. And I'm sounding that warning, and I'll make sure we do not disrupt the peace we are enjoying in this state. I've repeated that more than 20 times in this media chat. Sorry, I had to take it back to English so that I can summarize what people who did not understand know what I was talking about, so that people won't take us for granted. So, once again, I want to thank everybody who had joined us. The time seems short. I try to make this once a month now. If the Lord tarries, we may come again in September. And I want to pray before we come again. Let the situation be that schools can resume. Those bottlenecks, at least, can be taken off so that we can run normally. And by then, we'll talk more. I don't want to come and talk so much again about COVID-19. When I come in, let it be a wrap-up of the situation so that we can leave this scene and face other scenes. And for Munsi, Bible went through that God will bless those that bless you and curse those that curse you. Those who have blessed the government, those who have blessed us in one way or the other. Munsi Bobo and Kamin Onion. A lot of people see them sacrifices for other Akwa Ibom people. I want to use this platform to say that God will bless them. We've been blessed by so many people. In fact, the percentage of bad people is less than 1%. But for 99.something% of people that have blessed us as a people who have wished this state well, I use this platform and I'm praying from my spirit that you will not go unrewarded. God will bless all of you for supporting us, for blessing the state in one way or the other. Those who are praying, those who voted, those who made sacrifices. A lot of people have made sacrifices that we don't even know. Please, if I cannot reward you, God will reward you. And I want to really thank all Akwa Ibomites who have stood by the state, who make sure this state is at peace now, and who are promoting unity in this state, and leaving all biases, and making sure that we are just the one people, and that no outsider will do anything for us except we do something for ourselves. I want to say God will bless all of you, the fathers in faith, the ministers of the gospel who have prayed for the state. I want to appreciate all of you. I want to thank the teachers for their sacrifices. I want to thank all strata that have contributed to the development of Akwa Ibom State, and say that God, who has seen your heart and service to your people, will reward you. God is the only rewarder. Man cannot reward. God rewards. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And so we come full circle in the Series 6 of the Governor Speaks. The Governor came with a special team, members of the backroom staff, talking about the security government of Akwa Ibom State, and the chairman of the COVID-19 task force, Dr. Emmanuel. He also came with the chief of staff, and far away from the IAN. We also like to thank the Commissioner for Information and Strategy of Akwa Ibom State, commonly Emmanuel, who also served as the chief executive producer of this program. We thank the Commissioner for Health, Professor Gus Numon, here, and not forgetting the Honorable Special Advisor on Health, His Excellency the Governor, and then the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Akwa Ibom State was here, and then the Director General of AKBC, who provided the mother-based broadcast technology for this program, and then of our online crew. We also like to thank the General Manager of Planet FM, Comfort FM, Passion FM, Atlantic FM, and of course that of Exile FM.
James, help me thank the medical staff.
Okay, the medical staff.
Please. I didn't include them.
Okay.
Help me thank the medical staff. Those managing COVID-19, those managing general hospitals, primary health care, tertiary health care, all medical staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. And so, on that note, on behalf of Echo, Econ, Samuel Williams, and the lady who added the feminine touch to this program, Lene Afia, my name is James Edith. I thank you for staying tuned. We'll see you next month for another interesting edition of the Governor Speaks. Good evening and enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
James.